So we're 2 days after the Comrades. I've developed a little tradition where I come out and do like a really easy plod along here and try and share my thoughts on how the race went, how I'm feeling a couple of days after, whether some of the dust has settled, but not all of it. But Durban, I think, has other ideas because it is mad windy here. So I'm going to give it a go, and if you can't hear this, we'll cut to somewhere where I'm sat in where you can actually hear what I'm saying. I mean, this run was everything that you expect from a Comrades. I think last time I was here for the up run, I sort of described it as a beauty and a beast, and it was exactly the same. This race is hard. There is no getting away from it. It is hard. If you're coming from the UK, where you haven't run hills, you're not used to the heat, you know, there's the getting up early or in the middle of the night and going out. Everything is sort of designed to knock you off stride. I get 10k's into this race and it basically hands me my arse, and I'm like, no, there is no way that I can't go into this race with the utmost respect and caution, and I know my limits out there, and Bill Rowan, I think, is about it. So I've taken shelter from the crazy wind that was down there. I think I was in the middle of sort of explaining what I found out there on the course for the Comrades. I was just talking about this race is sort of, it's like a beauty and the beast. There is so much joy out on the course, so much energy, there's so much life. You see so many good people, there's so much camaraderie out there. At the same time, you are in a battle. Everyone I've spoken to since Sunday morning, first thing they say when you say, how was it? They say, well, that was tough. Tougher than last year? Everyone sort of says yes. I don't really know whether it was or the conditions were different, but people who've done this before said that this one was a bit more difficult. The truth of it really is that the Comrades is just a hard race. It requires a sort of special kind of resilience to go out there and get it done, but it's a special race that rewards you in a very special way. So it asks an awful lot of you, and you know, that's my third one, second down. You know, you'd think a bit of experience would come into it, might get easier, possibly a bit in better condition this time than I have been in the past, but it was no less of a battle out there. And you are playing mind games, you know, often from very early on. I think the really interesting thing that I've discovered, sort of now I've done it 3 times about the Comrades, is it kind of kicks you out of all of your comfort zones or your natural patterns when you're running. So for everything from that really early morning start when you have to get up essentially at 12:45, which I did, to have breakfast and get some food in, then get on quite a long bus ride where it's very nervous, it's very tense, thinking about do I need to go to the toilet again? Am I going to have access to a toilet? There's all these things going around. Have I got the right kit? Get to the start and there's a real kind of fervour and excitement and the adrenaline gets going. It was warm this time, other times it's been cold. And then you're going to get put out onto this course where you're facing, you know, a type of running up and downhill where it's very hard unless you're used to doing that kind of elevation change that is just relentless, where you can't settle into a pattern of pace. You know, if you think about the best times that you're running in a city marathon is when you just get into that sort of steady run and you're just cruising and ticking off the miles. It's very hard to do that here because you've got the changes going from uphill to downhill, and then you're thinking, okay, after the start at sort of 5:45 this year, and you're moving through the race and you're wondering when the heat's going to come, when's that sun going to come up and really kick in. It didn't really come as strong this time. We were lucky, we got some winds, we got some cool breezes, we got some cloud cover, and for a lot of it, it was cooler than I expected. It was still very humid. After 10k's, my hat was drenched, dripping, and so I think I was sweating as much, and maybe that kind of wreaked a little bit of havoc with the hydration strategy and all of that, rather than just being in kind of big heat, but I was very thankful for it. But you've got all of these things going on, pouches of water, not bottles. You're running this race with the intensity of a city marathon. You know, on any other ultra of 90k's, you'd probably take some time to stop and have a seat at an aid station, or for 5 minutes, or you know, you'd stop and graze a bit on, you know, the aid station for different types of food. In this one, everybody is battering through those water stations that come every 2 kilometers. They're nice and free, but everyone's battering through them, grabbing drinks like they're, you know, Eliud Kipchoge trying to run for a sub 2 hour marathon. Partly because you have to, you know, you're some people, or a lot of people, you're either fighting for dear life to get in under that 12-hour cutoff, or you're chasing the different medal categories and you've got this sort of target race. Like for me,
I think Bill Rowan, and it can be quite tight, so you're always thinking about the time, so you don't give yourself that reprieve. On a trail ultra, you're like, most of the cutoffs are quite lenient, so you're not really worried about that, and you can take a bit of time. You obviously don't want to spend too much time at the aid stations, but it does take the pressure off, get your heart rate down. You can eat and digest a bit more. This, you are eating and moving the whole time, drinking, everything is on the go. Battling the hills. So it's a test, it's a real test. There is no getting away from it. You're not going to have an easy run out here. I think from Curtis Stern, who wins it, right down to the person who crosses that line on 11:59:59. Everybody has a battle out here, and that's part of the beauty, though, because within all of that struggle and all of that turmoil and dodgy stomachs and visits to the Portaloos and the heat and the quads busting and feet hurting and nausea and Lord knows what going on, you're in this sort of bubble of real heightened energy and emotion that it kind of carries you through. And there's always someone you can turn to either have a chat, or there's someone on the course to help you out. Give you an example, I like to drink sparkling water when I run, and I stopped at basically people have all these kind of tents along the side. I found one where they were selling water to the spectators, and I wanted to buy myself a bottle of sparkling water. Not many people have it, but they had it. A couple standing there bought me one, gave it to me. Just wonderful generosity. You can pretty much stop and ask anyone for anything, and they will, if they've got it, they will give it to you. If they can't, they might find it for you. And there's all this, it will sort of carry you to the end. You can, people tap each other on the shoulder and run and talk. Like, so many stories of people when they really needed it, another runner on course realizing that other runner was struggling and just doing something kind to help them, push them, get them to the end. I heard tales of people just gently putting their hand on someone's back with sort of like 800 meters to go and just gently getting them moving because they'd stopped dead, and helping them across the finish line. Just that little touch of camaraderie is what this race is all about. And it's loud, it's busy, it's the support is incredible, the energy. The other thing I really love, and this I felt it even more this time, is it's a race that if you give any percentage of yourself to another runner or to the crowd, they give that energy back 40-fold. It comes back right back at you with smiles and chants and singing and dancing and conversations and help. It's proper magic stuff out there. And you asked me when I first crossed that finish line, am I coming back? There's absolutely no way. If you asked me 8 hours after it, no way. Yesterday morning, not really. 2 days out now, you start to think about all these things and all the magic that comes with the race, and already the mind goes to, it's so much pain to be out there, but it's also so much joy, and that is the beauty of it. I mean, you couldn't have one without the other, basically. So it just comes with the territory. It made me feel nervous and a little bit sick going into it. With every time I've started on this line, I've got a big ball of nervous energy, because you're going to be in a fight. There is no other option here. It's not going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy, even if you run well within yourself. Everyone says I should be running for silver based on a 2:58 marathon. Every time I get out there, 10Ks into that, I'm like, there's no way I'm running 8-minute miles for the whole of these 56 miles on this terrain and living to fight another day or survive it. I'd be doing wobblies. There's so many moments of doubt, so many moments of those conversations in your head where you're like, I'm not sure, I'm really not sure that I can do this. And in a more extreme way than you might get from a city marathon, because it feels very long. You're out there for a long time, but somehow on your own, with the help of others, with the support on the course, with the stories that you hear, you get it done. I met lots of people out here who are super motivational, and they were, some people facing their own very difficult challenges and staring down some big demons, and they were out there and they were going to go and get it done. And I used all those stories of all the people that I talked to in the build up to this race to power me, basically. So when I felt like I couldn't do it, I was thinking about those other people who I know would give everything that they had to get to that finish line, and they were going to be out there doing that, starting from much more difficult places than I was starting from. And when you know that's happening behind you or in front of you, whatever, it helps you keep going. So I think the other thing I just wanted to say is there's, throughout this time being out here, loads and loads of people have come up to me and they've either watched the tips videos that I did from the first Comrades Down that I did, or the up, or they've watched the vlog that I made of the actual race from 2023, and they came over to me and said, I'm kind of here because I saw your videos and it was the thing that ticked the box to say I wanted to come, or I followed one of those tips that you gave and it really worked for me yesterday. And it was such a delight to have those conversations and meet all of you, and I carried all of that with me out there, and it's put such kind of a smile on my face and a little bit of joy in the heart to know that that's helped. It's got you here for an adventure. It's maybe got you to do something you didn't think you could do. It means a huge amount, and I really appreciate everyone who came up and said hello to me and said thank you or whatever, just told me the story of the fact they'd watched it or they'd learned a tip. And yeah, I make these videos just because it's kind of fun telling the stories, but it's nice to know that in some way they've helped. And I want to say a huge congratulations to everyone who went out there and battled, whether you made it to the finish line or you didn't. If you ran 55Ks and you had to step off, you ran 55Ks in some very difficult conditions. Some people, you ran 12 hours 15 and you didn't get the medal. There is no failure running 12 hours 15 out there on that course. It's just an epic effort regardless, and so huge well done to everyone. Thank you to everyone who supported. Massive thanks to people who really put themselves on the line for me out there. Moments of kindness, all of those things. Just hat is off, and yeah, we live to fight another day, and it's been another joyous Comrades. So yeah, I've got to go get my plane and fly home. But from very windy Durban, with the Threepeat done, over and out.